Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. This radio program is heard every weekday evening on KWRD FM, 100.7 FM from 8:30 to 9 p.m. every evening. You can tune in and listen to it again if you need to. I wanted to discuss in this session today the 4 questions that you absolutely have to ask in every interviewing situation. I preach this and teach this. There is an elaborate discussion of these questions in the Job Search Solution. And if you really want to get the full-bodied, the whole thing, you go to www.thejobsearchsolution.com. I've been doing this since 1973, and I found that these are the 4 most important questions you can ask in any interview. And I will tell you to begin with that most people just don't have the guts to ask them. I don't understand why. I've never understood why. But you got to realize if you're looking for a job, no is the very second best answer you can get. There are 2 questions, 2 answers, yes or no. No is the second best answer you can get. If you're going to get rejected, you want to be rejected right now. So the 4 questions are, first of all, have I made it clear of what my experience and background is? Do you have any questions about my ability and my experience? Number 2, do you have any concerns about my ability to do the job? Number 3, how do I stack up with the other candidates that you are talking to? And number 4, what do I need to do to get the job? I preach this all the time. I tell every candidate I work with to ask these 4 questions. And most people come up with mamby-pamby, weak, awful. Well, where do we go from here? Well, what's the next step? Well, when should I expect to hear from you? Where do we go from here? Absolutely awful. Yuck. Every other candidate in the country is asking those same weak, stupid questions. And it's because they don't want to say, they don't want to ask, am I a candidate or aren't I? You're going to tell me whether you want to hire me or don't you? How do I stack up with the others? The first question that you have to ask about, have I made it clear what my experience is? The reason you ask that is that 50% of what you tell a prospective employer about your background, they don't get the first time you tell them. You've got to explain it again, and you got to ask them, did I make it clear? Number 2, do you have any concerns about my ability to do the job? Do I have any strengths or weaknesses in your opinion to do this job? Where am I strong? Where am I weak? What are your concerns? And then you may have a chance to offset those concerns and address those concerns. As in the first question, 50% of the stuff that you tell a prospective employer, unless they're taking copious notes, they really don't remember. And then you absolutely have to ask, how do I stack up with the other people you're talking to? Am I first? Am I second? Am I 20th? How do I stack up? Tell me. I need to know. If somebody encourages you and say, yeah, well, you stack up very well so far, you're the strongest candidate we've interviewed, that's one thing. If they say, well, we've got 2 or 3 people that are a lot stronger than you are in the process, then you know where you stand. And that's what you want to know. And then the 4th question, what do I need to do to get the job? And so you say, well, maybe I don't want the job. You've got nothing until you have an offer. Absolutely nothing till you've got an offer. What do I need to do to get the job? I told 5 candidates to do this same thing last week in my course, the Job Search Solution. Only one of them did it. Only one of them asked the 4 closing questions. Guess which candidate got hired? I taught all 4 of them to do it. Only one had the guts to do it. Everybody else said, well, it just didn't come up. Well, it just didn't seem appropriate. Well, we ran out of time. Well, this and well, what they really mean is I didn't have the guts to ask, am I in or am I out? And if you have any concerns about my ability to do the job, let's discuss them right now. You got to ask those questions of everybody you interview with. I don't care if it's the CEO. I don't care if it's the production manager. It doesn't matter who it is. You got to ask those 4 questions. And if it's one of the support people that is going to give an opinion to somebody else, you ask the other question is, are you going to tell the hiring manager to hire me? Do I get your vote? Are you going to help me out in getting this job? You absolutely have to ask those 4 closing questions. If you don't, in my humble estimation, you don't deserve the job. Does this take guts? Absolutely. It takes guts. Does it take practice? Absolutely. It takes practice. You know, of those 4 people I told to do these 4 closes, the one of them that did it, you know what the hiring authority said? Nobody's ever asked that before. That's a really great question. I can't believe it. So ask those 4 questions. Listen to this again if you have to. The 4 questions, the most important questions you can ask. All right, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashara with the Job Search Solution.